Hey guys, Weiss here. Welcome to another video. I recently did a video on the 5 worst games in my collection. Did a countdown 5 through 1, and Dark Castle for the Genesis took the #1 spot. Now, to know the other 4, you'll need to watch the video, which I'll put a link to in the comments. Well, I've invited 5 YouTubers to come on my channel and discuss the worst game in their collection. Not the worst game of all time or the worst game they've ever played, but the worst game they currently own. Now, this makes it interesting because a lot of people don't keep bad games that are in their collection. They'll get rid of them. And so maybe some of the games that are featured here aren't terrible. Some of them certainly are, but I want you guys to watch to find out. Now, we're featuring Zap Crystal, awesome, lovely YouTuber, cool friend of mine. The greatness of Victor Lucas with Electric Playground, really cool guy, has been very supportive of my channel and my books. Vintendo, the Retro Grab Bag Show. You guys need to subscribe to his channel, really nice guy. He's been really supportive as well. Christopher Pico, the old ass retro gamer. We've done some collabs, awesome guy. You need to check out his channel. And the legendary John Riggs, good friend of mine, really cool guy, one of the nicest YouTubers I know. So check it out, guys. 5 terrible, maybe, 5 games that these particular YouTubers think are the worst in their collection. Now, check this out, and on the other side of these awesome YouTubers, I will check back with you guys, and so I'll see you in a few minutes.
Hey guys, this is Zap Crystal bringing you the latest in all things gaming and 90s nostalgia. So guys, Brett told me to showcase to you guys a game that I own in my collection that I don't consider it to be the best. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the worst of the worst. And of course, it is Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures. I can't even keep a straight face when I said this. Now, Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures, known in Japan as Hello Pac-Man, is a side-scrolling adventure game in the Pac-Man series. It is developed by Bandai Namco, and it was available for the Sega Genesis, SNES, and even the Wii U. Now, instead of being a maze game like traditionally you would know Pac-Man games, it incorporates light point-and-click elements, which changes entirely the gameplay of this series. Now, guys, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I live streamed this not too long ago. We had a retro night, and I was experiencing for the very first time some Sega Genesis games that I've never played in my life. And one of those being Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures. Now, I'm gonna say straight off the bat that this was so confusing. The gameplay mechanics are not clear at all. Even though it's a light point and click, you really don't know what to click and what's gonna react to your click. So it was kind of, I want to say, funky. It was not right. It didn't feel right. It just, I felt like maybe the idea on the drawing board sounded good, but then when it came to bringing it into a reality and making it a playable game, it just kind of got tarnished. It didn't work well. Timing inputs are off. It almost feels like there's some sort of lag in the game. And there's not really a linear vision or mission of what you need to do, like from point A to point B, what to do. So in other words, it's just confusing. That's all I can say. I gotta continue repeating the same word, but it's the truth. It is very confusing. I do like how it looks aesthetically. Let me say, graphically, it looks beautiful. The artwork looks nice. It looks like it would have had potential of being a good game, but I think that maybe all they needed to do is just ditch the point and click element to the game and just probably have just made a regular side-scrolling adventure game. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to read it. Maybe we can come up with a better concept for this game, but it's still in my collection. So with that being said, Brett, I'm gonna pass it back to you, bro.
Hey Brett, it's Victor Lucas from the Electric Playground. Thank you so much for inviting me to be on this auspicious video compilation that you're putting together about the worst game in my collection. Now, I could have chosen a bunch of different games. Thank you for bringing up a lot of feelings of anger in me, by the way. Like Bill Lambier's Combat Basketball for the Super Nintendo, which ended up looking like a bunch of frogs trying to battle for a ball. I hated that freaking game, and I paid full freight for that thing when I bought it. It made me so freaking angry. I could not believe it. And then, of course, there's some Batman games that come into my mind, like Batman Dark Tomorrow from Kemco, where I interviewed the developers and, well, publishers, and they assured me that it was going to be great. And boy, it was just junky garbage. I was so frustrated playing it because there were a lot of cool little elements in it. And, of course, Superman 64 is on that list, and Chicken Shoot for the Wii. The list of crappy titles in my collection is actually quite long, because I've been doing this for a long time, you know that. But I racked my brains, and this is what I chose. This is Ubisoft's debacle, and Kemco was involved with this one as well. This is Batman, Return of the Joker, which was actually a fantastic animated movie, which I loved, and I love Batman Beyond as a character and a storyline where we have an older Bruce Wayne, and he deals with this younger Batman in the future, so there's all this future technology and all of these different variations on the Batman lore that have been futurized. So it's great fodder for an excellent video game, but this is just such a shoddy piece of garbage. I couldn't believe it. I actually popped it on last night to kind of reacquaint myself with this thing, and it is awful. It's a bunch of like triangular polygon creations that just look so rudimentary and primitive. It looks like, and no offense to students out there, but it looks like student work. And then they published this freaking thing. The sound effects are terrible. They don't even have any voiceover or any, they worked with Warner Brothers and they didn't get the actors, they didn't get any of the production polish. This was on a CD. They could have done something really remarkable with it, but the cutscenes are kind of lame. They're just sort of comic booky, kind of flavored, but it's really the combat and the animations of the characters, which is just abysmal. You'll have, one of the bosses that you fight is a guy that's pulling some levers and a bunch of different construction pieces are falling down around Batman, and it just looks ridiculous. And the guy's just standing there pulling levers as you're punching and kicking them and hitting them with your nunchuck and stuff. And you'll fight robots and a bunch of alligator-looking variants and creatures, and all of it is just so tired and lame. And this was, well past the days of the 16-bit brawlers, and there were excellent Batman brawlers back then and side-scrolling experiences with superheroes. And this is a side-scrolling polygonal-based game that doesn't hold a candle to the stuff that was great in the 16-bit era. Incredibly, incredibly frustrating and disappointing, but I'm such a huge superhero freak. I'll never get rid of this game, which sucks. But yeah, this is something that I still want an apology from Ubisoft for. This is garbage. Batman, Return of the Joker. I'm nominating this as the worst game in my collection.
What is up, retro gamers? This is Vintendo, back here with the Retro Grab Bag Show. I want to thank Brett again for having us on one of his segments. This time, the worst video game in your collection. Well, that's plain and simple to me. DuckTales on the NES. Obviously, I'm joking about that. It's actually going to be Roadrunner on the NES by Tengen. Now, here's the deal with this one. So, got out of school, elementary school, on a Friday afternoon. I believe it was my mom. Took me to the rental store. But here's the catch. None of my older siblings were along to kind of pick what we were going to rent. So it was just me. And I gravitated toward Roadrunner because I love the cartoon. So this was the game we rented for the weekend, and I got it home, popped it in, was stuck on the first screen. That was it. Did not move from the first screen. It upset me. It ruined the weekend. I felt bad for myself, my mom, the game makers, everybody, our dog. So, to this day, I have not played this game. It might be a good game. If you played it, let me know. Can you get past the first screen? And I have the channel going and the collection going, and I keep thinking to myself, maybe I'll do like a short play and get back into this game and change my story, my negative nostalgia that I have around this game. What do you think I should do? So anyway, this is what I consider the worst game in my collection. So yeah, can't wait to see what the other picks were here in this video. Thank you again, Brett. And as someone on our show, Frank, says, play hard.
Hey, Chris, the old-ass retro gamer here, and the worst game that I have in my collection currently is definitely Mortal Kombat 4 on the Game Boy Color. The only reason this is still in my collection is because one of my collecting goals is to get all of the Mortal Kombat console games, regardless what console it's for. I mean, I have Mortal Kombat Trilogy on the Gamecom, and if I actually owned a Gamecom, that might be the game I would be talking about right now. But because I'm such a huge Mortal Kombat fan, I mean, I have this in my collection. I wish I didn't have to have it in my collection, because this is quite possibly one of the worst made games I've ever played. And I've played some crap in my day. The graphics are not good. At least the Game Boy ports of Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, while not great, resemble the game that they are based on. You know, they look like the arcade game. Not this. This looks like some kid programmed it on his graphing calculator in 1998. It is horrible. The music, what is actually there, I think 3 tracks, just sounds like MIDI vomit. And even when you get a fatality, it is like 2 frames per second video of the fatality, which has been windowed. You can't even see what's going on. It's so choppy and broken up. I mean, it is just infuriating. Mind you, I'm not the greatest fan of Mortal Kombat 4 as a game to begin with, but, I mean, why?
How are you feeling? You got John Riggs here talking about the worst game in my collection. And I try not to have games I wouldn't play in my collection. If I have it, I'm not gonna play it. I don't think it's a great game. I'm gonna see if I can sell it at a game convention or trade it or use it for trade bait or something like that. But one game I have in my collection, I'm sure you have it in your collection too. Not that it's a terrible game, but we gotta talk about Top Gun just for a moment. It's the game that everyone has in their collection. Nobody bought it. It just showed up one day. As a kid, currently, some of you might even have 2 or 3 of these, sometimes 5, sometimes even more than that. Especially if you get these lots of games, you get like someone's collection, you're buying out their collection. There's always going to be a copy of Top Gun in here. And it's not a terrible game. It's not a bad game by any means. It was great for its time. A little flying action, landing the plane, of course, like that. Most people have trouble with that. I always had more trouble with refueling in the skies. But it's that game that, man, everybody had it. Everybody. I remember as a kid, I didn't have a whole lot of Nintendo games growing up. I had a few, and I remember where I got most of them, but I had this, and don't have a clue where it came from. It just was there all of a sudden, it seemed like, and not gonna question it. I mean, of course I played it, of course we did. Never beat it though, but if I had to think of one game in my collection that was the worst game, I mean, again, I can probably find an argument on why I like all the games I have in my collection, but when I saw this in my collection, I was like, you know what, we gotta talk about Top Gun, because that's the game that everybody has. It's not super great. Top Gun 2 for the NES is really good. You get the dog battles on that one, but where did it come from? We may as well call this game Cotton Eye Joe, because where'd it come from, where'd it go? Anyway, that's my pick. Thanks, Brett.
Alright guys, thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments also, who would you like to see on my channel talking about their favorite game of all time or the worst game in their collection. And if you know a YouTuber who's, that you really enjoy, have them contact me if they want to be on my channel talking about their favorite game of all time or the worst game in their collection. That'd be great. We'll talk to you later. If you're a fan of my work, you might want to consider supporting me on Patreon. For just a low fee each month, you get a lot of extra content. Another way to support the channel and my writing career is to buy books direct from me, including the 100 Greatest Console Video Games, the Classic Home Video Game Series. It's like an encyclopedia set. And this massive bad boy, the NES Omnibus Volume 1 A through L. I will put links in the description of this video where you can buy books direct from me and where you can support me on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.